If you want a great looking product that doesn't wreck your view and saves you money, check this out. You're watching the Okie Woodsman channel. My name is Joe. Let me show you what we've been working on. Look at how this is coming out. Yesterday, Michelle and I had a few hours to work on this and we learned a lot. Make sure you watch this video and we'll show you some tips and tricks and show you what I found to work best for us. Hey, Scout. One of the first things you need to realize is that the max recommended span for the endpoints is 16 feet. I thought it was just directional changes, but once I received the product in the box, and I did buy this on Amazon myself, your endpoints need to be 16 feet or less apart. That works out fairly well because I anticipated needing about 112 if I remember correctly, but I ended up buying two 100 packs because I thought there'd be a little bit of a learning curve, and really to go from 25 to 100 was marginally more expensive. I have plenty of material to do so. I also purchased 1,000 feet of wire to get this all done. I've also lined up all the tools that I've found necessary during this install. Simple drill. The bit is included with these swage screws. I don't even know how to say that. I think it's swage. I use a 4-inch block for my spacing. More on that later. I also purchased this guide just in case I needed it. This is an absolute necessity here to make your crimps. There will be links down in the description for all these materials on Amazon. I just went and purchased this longer 3/16 drill bit. That's going to make my life easier today. These cutters were included with the steel cable. And because I purchased two 500-foot rolls, I actually have two pairs of them. Pencils, squares. These wrenches are included with the swage bolts. Another square. You got your left and your right. This is the package I've been working out of, and here is another 100 pack right here. This is a 500-foot roll of 1/8-inch stainless steel wire. Another tool that I haven't pictured here is I did make use of my laser level, and the reason why I've done that is I marked the very top starting point on every single post. I did that because if there's any variation in the deck surface, which there is, or the hand railing, I want to have one stationary point where that top line of rail is perfectly flat, and then I base everything off of that. That's why I use that 4-inch block. Many people do install these at 3-inch spacing. I'm choosing to do 4. National code is that you should not be able to fit a 4-inch ball with 200 pounds of pressure through it. If you take on this project, make sure you research that for your local area and what you feel comfortable with. It may have been faster to make some sort of jig, but I really didn't have the material laying around. And so I figured this block would work well enough for the limited amount of posts that we have. I have my square set for the center of each post, so I just marked my center line, and this has worked out fairly well. Now it's time to drill the holes. This is the bit that was included with the swage bolts. The guide I purchased is not for this drill bit, so that's why I have to do this freehand. One thing I was really worried about is how straight my holes were. From my experience on that other side, even if your holes are slightly off, it's really not as big of a deal as you would realize. Once you crimp those connectors and everything, I find that they kind of get tweaked anyway, and they do accept a little bit of persuasion afterwards, and the wire really has a way of straightening itself out and looking quite good. Meal of champions. Tuna, fish crackers, fake diet Dr. Pepper. Oh, coffee too. No. You don't get any of this food. It is so awesome to be getting this done. Hey, you know, we used to think this was a boy, and then when we took her to get fixed, we found out it wasn't. That corner is going to present a little bit of trouble over there. I'm saving that for last. Here's a quick tip for you. Installing these is super easy. What I've chosen to do is install the right side endpoint, always using the right side labeled bag. What that enables me to do is know that I haven't accidentally threaded the same thread on both ends. You have to have an opposing thread in order for this to work right. Otherwise, your wire's just gonna twist all up. Go set this on the left endpoint, and now I'll show you how to do this on the right endpoint. I actually utilize the drill to install these. Just chuck up on them and insert here, and this one is just gonna take standard thread. Now you wanna try to thread them all in about equally, mostly from left to right. I also would recommend that you screw them in more than just minimally, because it's that much less that you've got to turn with the wrench. And I've also found that if you're a little off, it really doesn't actually matter all that much. And that was one of the things I was worried about, is do you have to do it precisely the same amount of turns on both sides? Optimally, the answer is yes, you would want to, but it's forgiving enough that it's not a big deal. Now let's move on to our next one. This one will be left-handed thread. Keep the right-handed thread here because we're going to need it on this side of the post, because this is serving as an end point for both directions. Remember, you don't want to go further than 16 foot between endpoints per the instructions. During this project, we have not wasted a single one of these, which is super cool. So this one, you have to have the drill in reverse. Simply put the drill in reverse, and when you're on your way out, just hold the chuck, it comes right out. As you can tell, the whole process is a bit repetitious. Once you get a rhythm going, you can get this done pretty quickly. My wife has been marking every one of the posts that I need to drill straight through. I purchased a longer drill bit. The very first set, I ended up actually having to drill from both sides. And while that was extremely accurate and I was able to meet up both holes, it was time consuming. I'm hoping that with the drill guide and this longer bit, I'll be able to drill through each of the posts, making a one-time drill session. That would be great. All of my endpoints are done. Here she is, marking the centers over here. Thank you, babe.
Welcome.
Got this here. We have more work to do on the stairs. This is not permanent. The only one I'm lacking is the corner. And I'm gonna have to get fancy here, but I'm saving this one because I need to make sure I get it just right. We're gonna have to hit these bolts somewhere like at an extreme angle here. Those endpoints are not exactly in line with this post here. We'll just see how that works, but again, we will make it work because that's just what you do. I'm using this guide here, 3/16 bit. That's why I was unable to use this for the other holes. The bit was slightly smaller. Centering this and using this as a guide, I'm hoping that I just come out on the right side, on the right place on the other side.
Why don't you keep that on?
Does it look centered?
I don't think that's a good idea. You shouldn't have taken that block off.
I think that's going to work out perfectly. My wife just asked why I didn't leave the block on the whole time. The drill bit gets extremely hot, and what happens is this bushing is set into plastic, and there's lots of reviews where the bushing has come loose. If it comes loose, it's no good to me anymore. I bet you they're good, honey. Let me grab a square and look at it.
Yeah, I'd be interested in you marking the spots like you would have before.
That's dead on. That's dead on. That's dead on. We're good, hon.
Okay.
So my wife is over here. She's decided to take on this end. And you have any tips for us, babe?
Have upper body strength.
Have upper body strength?
I wish there was like a machine that could do this. Because by hand, this is really hard. Like, definitely not everyone can do this.
Well, and to think, I mean, we bought 200 of those things, and we're going to use probably 180 or so of them. So I've crimped a lot of these, and my hands are pretty sore from yesterday. Do you think you could do all of it on your own?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay. So let me see if I can hold this real quick. Let me step up here and let me see if I can do any further than that. We've learned a couple things. If you take this handle all the way up, it becomes very hard to close or to crimp. But what I found is the smaller the throw, the easier it is to go. Now, of course, that takes time, and there is no magic number. I just basically do it until I can't anymore on these. So I feel good with that. Now, I don't release this all the way, so that way I don't have to pump it as much. It does require two crimps per cable.
So, in my opinion, anyone can do this.
This part right here is easy?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is doable.
Because you drill it enough, it's pre-drilled, this isn't too difficult. And you'll notice that this wire starts twisting up, and that's okay. You can take this almost all the way, but she's going to go ahead and try to do them equally. And you'll see that the wire kind of will straighten itself up. We're using a block for our 1.5 inch spacing. You're supposed to cut the wire 1.5 inches less than your inside opening. There she is.
This is not hard. I'm just maneuvering it.
Sure.
Because there's no locking mechanism, so this could fall out. So I'm just trying to keep it from falling is all.
Yeah.
But it's not hard.
I'd say the most difficult one is where you have to take the wrench on and off repeatedly, like on this top one here. So she's pretty much seated. You can go a little bit more. If your wire is not cut too long, you can basically stop about where she did on the other side. And these little wrenches are included in the kit. Now, they say a lot of people put 3-inch spacing in here. I don't think that wouldn't fit with 3-inch spacing. This process would be quite a bit longer if we did that. Okay, so let's do a little banjo test here. Ooh, I think it sounds in tune, honey. Let's do this. 1 second, hon. I'm going to say let's let it be, because when you tighten all these up, this might go a little bit more slack. So let's basically tune them at the end. You know what I mean? Because that way you don't run out of throw here.
Right.
All right. So do you think you can try to do these, or do you want help with it?
I think I want help.
You want help?
I can do everything else. I just cannot do this very effectively.
Okay, that's no problem. My wife and I have been working on this, but so far I've done all the crimping, and I was hoping... Go ahead.
Is there an alternative to this?
You know, this is really the recommended tool.
I'm talking about, like, is there a
better option?
battery operated?
I think Milwaukee might have a crimping tool, because I think this shares with like some of the electrical tools out there, and I've seen electricians use a Milwaukee like crimping tool. Now, I don't know if there would be compatible. This is considered a number 6 die. Will you turn it there? And on this side it tells you it's 1/8 inch. So 1/8 inch and then number 6. So if you could let us know down in the comment, does Milwaukee or some other manufacturer make an electric version, so that way you're not having to pump it? Another thing that I think would be beneficial is a longer handle. If the handle were a little bit longer, but then, I don't know, then you might not be able to fit it in a tight space. So it's just one of those things. This works really well, and the price is pretty good, but as you go, you do get fatigued. I cannot imagine having a larger project that you're trying to whip through. Now, for example, we have all of basically the wire to cut and do on this whole section, so I've got a lot of crimping to go today, and I'm not looking forward to it. It's definitely the worst part about the project. So far today, we've only used this one battery. It's getting close to the end, so I'm gonna swap to a fresh one. Oh, that's way better. Really big help to have the family come out here and do this with me. Like we were talking about earlier, the whole process really isn't all that bad with the exception of crimping those ends. Now, see that bent one right there? That's not going to be an issue because we'll tighten it up, it'll pull itself straight, and then we can also bend it a little bit once we're done. I've about had enough of it, and I'm just getting started for the day on the crimping. I have all of our cable sections cut. Now they're waiting on crimping and tightening. I have a suspicion that what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up crimping, and then people will come behind me and start tightening. It's definitely getting done pretty quickly. We've had a few failures, and I think it might have been due to fatigue, but it's kind of weird because all the failures were on the right side, not the left. So I'm using this pipe for leverage. It's actually off my woodchuck picaroon, and it's really saved my bacon. I just simply couldn't squeeze anymore on just the short handles. And again, we did have 4 failures, and I don't know if it was because I was just fatigued or what, but this is helping a lot. If there was more leverage on the bottom, it would make it a little bit easier, but I think this is good because this is my limiting factor right now. Out of the whole entire project, this is definitely the most tedious and tiresome thing.
Okay, I'm at 1.
Okay. Do the next one.
As I've been crimping the wires, I've been bending the connectors pretty badly, so I'm going to go straighten them back out. Okay, this one's bent down. Bend it back up. There we go. That works.
Seems
this one
pretty
kind of
easy.
needs to bend back. That one works. The biggest thing is the crimping process is pretty significant, and we really used one less wire than many people do.
Wow, that was a cool pop.
Yeah. It really made me pretty nervous when I had those failures over there. I really don't know if it was fatigue or if it was that maybe the barbs weren't very pronounced, if there is barbs on the inside of these connectors. By adding the leverage onto the tool, it certainly helped out quite a bit. Just know that if you're going to use the hydraulic crimping tool, that it does take a little bit of muscle, it does take a little bit of strength, and if you have a few people that can rotate through that process, it really helps. In my family, I have 2 younger boys that are still gaining strength, so in this circumstance, I was the only one capable of crimping the wire sufficiently. I have some straightening to do on there, don't I, honey?
You do.
Those things are shaped like hot dogs. We're marking our drilling location using this laser. The laser is hitting a line vertically, and it's also down the center of this as well. What I'm going to do now is mark the intersection over there, and I'm going to drill my holes. I'm just winging it here, but I think this ought to work out okay. Figuring out the length of these cables is going to be a little bit more difficult. The book does tell you that on angles, you cut the wire 2 inches shorter. So we're going to try that once and see if it works. I just don't want to do all of them and find out it's too short. This side's super extreme because the angle that that post is set at, so we're gonna find out if we're in trouble or not right now. So we're going down the middle of this and intersecting right there. So now when I drill again, I'm gonna do the same process, but again, this is more of an extreme angle, so it's gonna be a little tough. I'm also concerned about being able to crimp. So we're gonna see how this works. I hope it does good. Oh man, this is gonna be hard.
Nope, nope, nope.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it at that angle. I'm probably just gonna have to go in like this. Yeah, that's what's gonna have to happen. So I'm gonna try to make that angle happen on each time. I'm just sort of imagining this turning out right. We're gonna find out if I've got craftsmanship in my intuition or not. When you decide to get fancy and put angles on things, it just causes difficulty. Had we just made a square deck by cutting down this tree, buying more material and all that, it would have been easier. However, I think that this adds visual interest on the deck. Had it just been a square, it would have looked good and it would have been usable, but I kind of like the angle. It's a little bit different. They're all about the same.
Yeah.
Not bad considering I just did it off a feeling, huh, babe?
Yeah.
All right, the big thing here, this is gonna be really hard to figure out what length we need to do this. So we're gonna basically do one. We're gonna try to pay attention to how long we did it based off of maybe where it ends here. And then we're gonna crimp it and tighten it and hope that it works out well. If it works, then we'll cut the remainders and we'll just keep moving forward. It's always great when it works out perfectly the first time.
I'm at the wood.
That looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and crimp this side. Yeah, I'll get to. Good?
Yeah.
Nice, we are cranking. Wow. Wow. Well, gosh dang, that felt like it went pretty quick, but it also felt fairly long as well. Let's take a look. It's so fantastic to have this part done. The deck is 95% of the way done. We need to do some pressure washing and we need to get some ready seal out, but I'm gonna wait for rainy season to end. I couldn't be more thrilled with how those wires really filled in that area, made the deck safe, and I think that they're very visually appealing as well. Let's take a look together. What a transformation this has been. If you haven't been here for the entire deck building experience, make sure you check out those videos. If you're wondering why there's mismatched pieces, old looking and new looking, much of this deck was built with sawmilled lumber, so I'll leave you with that. We did need to finish up with some store-bought materials just to get done with the process. And man, oh man, I'm just really proud of this. Just really proud. I've said it before, but this is the flattest exterior space that we have on the entire property. We have 12 acres of valleys and hills. Basically, it feels so good to be able to set foot up here and not be walking on a side slope. So how was the cable railing process? I'd say in a lot of ways it was fairly easy. It was very affordable, but you must factor in that you're going to need to have strong arms to be able to use that hydraulic crimper. Putting that additional leverage on there certainly did help me out. Another thing I do want to mention is it is pretty forgiving. Of course, you're not going to hide, a ½ inch or an inch off. But if your drill bit walks a little bit, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to be very visible. You have a little bit of room for tweaking on those connectors at the end. And I just really couldn't be more thrilled with this. Down below in the description, I'll include the parts and the tools that we used. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you've been watching for a long time or if you're new around here. We do quite a few projects as a family and we're growing rapidly. Thanks for watching the Okie Woodsman channel, and we'll see you on the next one. We've got blueberries and or huckleberries growing. I think that they're all huckleberries. My family insists that they are blueberries and huckleberries. Oh yeah? You think they're both? Most of the ground cover you see around here is huckleberry. And they're delicious. It's the best part of the year. Well, I should say it's the best thing about this time of the year when you start getting hot and humid here in Oklahoma. If you want to see this bench build, make sure you check that out. There's a whole bunch of green ones. There they are right there. Are they?
Right here. Boom. Boom.
That one was sweet.
Boom. Boom.
Oh, Dad, see, look.
I just found it. You can see some.